yields back her time. The gentleman, Mr. Mfume, the ranking member. My dear friend, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for the working partnership that we've had on this committee and the bipartisan manner in which we've tried to deal with a number of different things, not the least of which is our love and respect for the Postal Service and the men and women that make it work day in and day out. I can't underscore enough how I appreciate the testimony and the work of all of you who have come before us today. Each one of these sessions becomes a learning tool for those of us who sit on this committee because we don't see everything from every angle, so your perspective on all these things alone is very, very important. I think that without a doubt we are all still astonished by more than 250,000 complaints of mail and mail volume receptacle theft that we continue to hear about and read about. The Postal Service, as has been said, and as we all know, has a constitutional mandate. It is, in fact, a lifeline for millions and millions of Americans, particularly in rural communities, and those people who cannot fight and stand up for themselves, but who rely day in and day out on a basic service that has been so much part and parcel of the fabric of our nation, going all the way back to Benjamin Franklin. And so it's crucial that the Post Office, in my opinion, has the resources to carry out their mission and to realize also that in many respects, this is about data, but it's more than data. It's also about human beings who are on the other side of the equation. We refer to them as letter carriers, and they work day in and day out to make sure that the service that we've come to take for granted is still there. What we find challenging is the rate of devilish interception and the rate of interception that comes from thieves and this criminal mindset that if you put up 2 fences, we want to find a way to scale a 3rd one. It's trying to get in front of those persons and getting in front of that criminal mind that's a real challenge, not just in this matter, but in all matters. So the more you can work to do that, I think it's clear that the more it's appreciated by a lot of us. And I've listened, and you know, this whole issue of Project Safe Delivery, I don't want to undercount it. I think it's important. The progress that's being made there is important. I commend the Inspector Generals. Your work is a tough job, day in and day out. But we've got to find a way, I think, Mr. Chairman, to make sure that as we use cutting-edge technology and as we work to improve data analysis so that we can reduce, if not to some extent, try to eliminate much of this problem is important. I can't help but to go back again to letter carriers and what they are faced with in the street. In my own district in Baltimore, we continue to get reports of assaults and attempted assaults on letter carriers. I sometimes will get out of my car and talk with 1 or 2 of them just for them to feel comfortable enough to give me a straightforward feel of what they see every day, what they feel in their heart, what their ideas are on how we can find a way to get a handle on this. And it's an amazing kind of testimony. So when we here on this committee try to deal with this issue openly and objectively in a nonpartisan way, we really have to be open to every suggestion. Suggestions on the data side, suggestions on the human side that hopefully will move us forward. Mail fraud and all that it has brought about is disturbing. I can't begin to tell you that I listened to the gentlewoman from North Carolina talk about what her experience was back in the 1960s. So many people have positive experiences with the Postal Service. The Postal Service rating among Americans has been high for such a long time, and it's because the Postal Service is a part of the family. That's how people look at things. So when I, Mr. Albergo, listened to your testimony, I am reminded of that testimony that I heard from you and from many of your men. In fact, a year ago, or 2 years ago, they presented me with their badge. They said, take this, put it in your desk. Don't ever forget that the Postal Police are out here, and that we're out here to service you and to service the country. I just think we've got to create, Mr. Chairman, a way to give the police clear lines of demarcation so we will know what they can do, what they can't do, and what we expect them to do and how we're going to support them. So I would ask all of you, what's the number one thing we could do? I'm sure that's to provide the necessary resources. But above and beyond that, I just want to thank you all for your service. I want to pledge the commitment of this side of the aisle as the chairman and I work together on these issues to try to move a Congress, which is really stratified these days and dug in on different sides of the fence. We try to find that slither in the middle where most people are, which is where you're governed from. Not the far left or the far right, but the middle. And people expect us to be able, in that middle, to move along in such a way that we create progress. So I'm sure this is not going to be the last time that we see some of you before the committee. I would strongly urge, outside of your written testimony, if there are new things that develop over the course of the next couple of months, that you transmit them to the chairman and myself so they can also take those into consideration. And where there needs to be clarity on news reports sometimes that are a little ambitious, to say the least, that you provide us with what the actual facts were and are. With that, Mr. Chairman, I would yield back the balance of my time. Thank you again. It's been a good working partnership, and I yield.